What's up, everybody? Chrono Liberty Early Access will be available in 27th of September, which 3 days from the time of recording this video. And the global launch will be available 5 days after, which the 1st of October. Now, I know a lot of free-to-players upset about the fact that they are gonna be playing the game after 5 days from those who spend money in the game. However, this could be a good thing, and I tell you the reason. Because Amazon Studio released that there will be a new servers in the global launch on the 1st of October, which means since all the whales or even dolphins will be the early access, in that day in the global launch you will be almost like 99% playing with pure free-to-play players, which will give you massive opportunity. Also during this time you can get a good knowledge about the game, like level up, the fastest way to level up, and you can watch streamers who can give you good idea about the game, like me for example. I will be streaming the game 24 hours during the early access, so make sure to give a visit to me and subscribe to the channel in your way. So without wasting any time, let's get started in the video. Okay, so let's talk about the weapon system in Throne of Liberty. So unlike any other traditional MMORPG games where there is the class system, cleric, warrior, sorcerer, and so on, the class system in Throne of Liberty is different, which rely on your weapon. However, you will be using two weapons simultaneously, which means it will be combination of two weapons, and I will explain the process in a simple way that everybody can understand and get general idea about the game. So in general, there is a 7 weapon. Each one have like strength and weaknesses, and I'll try to give you a very simple explanation so you can get the idea about them. First, we start with the Greatsword. This weapon has like single target damage. The playstyle is kind of similar to the Berserker and Gladiator from other games. However, this weapon or class, whatever, I'm so confused. I may say weapon and class, so get used to this. It rely mainly on CC the target. That's why in like dungeons, this weapon isn't really the highest DPS weapon in the game. It's average, sometimes even below average. Not the weakest, but it's okay. As I said, this weapon rely on CC and has good burst damage. Moving to the next weapon, which is sword and shield, and this is probably will be the most used weapon in the game because it's mandatory in PvP. It is mandatory in dungeons. In everything you'll need sword and shield. And I tell you from my personal experience, I've played other game from NCSoft which called Ion, and it was actually rank 1 in a server. So I can tell you in the massive PvP, when like I form groups of we had back then groups of 24 versus 24, like the winner team always, like when I want to build a strong team, I always bring blades to my team, which were back then gladiators and templars. So the tanks in massive PvP is like insanely valuable, and this game, like, you will see the tanks shine a lot, trust me, and you will be like there will be always demand on you if you are using if you are playing with the tank. So the sword and shield, it's very obvious, less damage, more tanky, and they actually have the ball skill from Ion on the timber from iron, so you can actually pull the target, and at high level you can even pull 3 targets at the time, which cool actually in PvP and PvE. So this is like simple explanation about the class. I think the weapon itself explain itself, sword and shield. So we don't expect the highest damage, but we expect the highest tank ability among any other weapon. Now let's move to the next weapon, which the dagger. Now the dagger playstyle is similar to assassin playstyle from any other games. So you will have access to stealth, which very valuable in PvP. So far, as I saw from like many analysis to the gameplays, the dagger itself isn't really that insane damage. However, uh, the dagger provide insane buffs, like the passive from the daggers, probably the best passives you can get. It give enhance to the crit rate, crit damage, weakening, evasion, and so on. So you will always find like dagger in combination with other weapons most of the time. And I believe if like the top tier dagger dropped in from the ward boss, probably it will be the most expensive weapon, because as I said early, the dagger can be used in many weapon combinations. And the dagger, like the dagger skills, has gap close, and I believe this is the only weapon that has a gap close. So you can ambush behind the target. It's similar to ambush skill from Ion, from the assassin class in Ion. And yeah, so this class has stealth, gap close, a very good passives, and I will explain more details about like the skills in later in this video. Moving to the next weapon, which the bow and the bow and this is a ranged weapon, but it is single target. It's gonna be different from the staff, which we will be explained after this. And this weapon has like a very good burst damage, and like the damage from this weapon is consistent, unlike some other weapons that like has high burst, but the damage isn't that consistent. So this weapon will be really insanely good in term of DPS. And this weapon has some support skills that can be used for healing. So we will be seeing this weapon in combination with wand. And this weapon actually has some skills to counter the hidden players. So you can actually reveal the stealth player, and I believe this is the only weapon that has the ability to do this. So think about this weapon as single target ranged weapon. Now we're moving to the next weapon, which the crossbow. Now I'll be honest with you, this is gonna be the hardest weapon to play with, because you are squishy, you don't really have that tankiness that you can get from like the shield or even the Greatsword. Also, you don't have the stealth like assassin. You will get some mobility, so some of your skills will give you movement speed. However, you are not ranged, so like you are mid-range, so you are not high-ranged like the bow users and the staff users. Also, you are not tanky enough like melee DPS. So this weapon like will give you the highest damage possible in the game. I believe this is the highest damage weapon in the game, but this is going to be really difficult to play. Like even in massive PvP will be so hard to play with this weapon. And I tell you why. If you don't have the upper hand and this is something I have like massive experience with. I told you I was rank 1 in other similar MMORPG games, and I can tell you this: if you like for massive PvP, if you go to hunt people from behind or from the sides in sieges, you should expect that you will be grouped by other people. So if you are not massively stronger than those people you are hunting, you will be die. And especially with weapon that doesn't really have that luxury that the dagger has with the stealth and as I said, or tankiness like shield and so on. So this is will be like, in my opinion, I can tell this is going to be the hardest weapon to play with in the game. Next weapon is the staff. Think about this weapon like sorcerer playstyle from other game or mage in general. So there is cast time on your spells. This weapon has like a high damage AoE burst, like you can do ranged AoE skill, so this will be very valuable in group PvP. You sit behind the tanks, AoE people, do insane damage, and that's it. But if you got caught alone, you will be melted. So this is a general idea about how this weapon work. I hope I explain it in those few words. So ranged AoE with like good range, and yeah, this is the play style of the weapon uh, in very short way. And finally, we have the wand. Now, the wand can be played in two different ways. So, the wand actually is the main healer weapon in the game, but you can play it on different way, which as a DPS weapon. So, if you play it as a DPS, it will rely on dot damage. I think it's called courses in this game. So yeah, you could actually one shot even tanks with this course's build. So this weapon is kind of flexible, and you'll see it actually with many other weapon combinations, because as I said, you can play it as like pure healing or support, or as DPS, and as I said earlier, it will rely on the courses and the dot damage. Okay, now so let's get idea about how the weapon system work and how we can make combinations of the weapons. So let's see. Here, as we can see, this is the skill page where you can select your skills. Each weapon has 11 skill. So we see in this example, they are using the bow here, and this is the wand, I believe. So each weapon will have, like, as we said, 11 skill here, 11 skill here, and in the right side we have the passives. So each weapon will have 7 passives, as we can see obviously here. Now this is where you're gonna select your normal skills. You can select up to 12 skills and 8 passives. And this is where your like style of play will like take a place, because you can even go like full bow skills and take one skill from the one, maybe. So there is like unlimited number of options you can make. And to start with, like, there is a lot of options of weapon combination that you can use, and after that there is like inside this combination itself there is a lot of skills combination you can make, and over all of that you can make some adjustments to your skills. So there is like modification to the skills later in the game. So like you can choose your own play style inside this game. That's why I said it will be very, very unique. And it's very obvious now why I explained early. The dagger maybe doesn't have the best damage skills, but the passive is good. So you can, for example, take the crit passive from the dagger and go, maybe you want to play ranged with, let's say, with the staff, so you get crit passives with the dagger, take some useful ability from the dagger, and go full damage with the staff. So as I said, the possibility is nearly unlimited. You can do a lot of weapon combination. However, some you will see only like 10 or 15 combinations in max. You won't see like many, like all the combination together, because some combinations doesn't work in the first place. Why we see dagger with bow, for example? Because first, dagger has good passive. The dagger has uh, gap close skills, so even if you are in like distance, you can instantly get to the target and burst the target with your melee skills. So this is something but the dagger in almost every combination in the game because of the gap clause. However, you can't play, let's say, Greatsword with the bow. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, right? One weapon you need to be close to the target, and another weapon you will you will lose the range advantage if you use both skills in melee distance. I mean, it doesn't really make sense. So if you want to go far behind, you will lose your advantage of the great sword. It doesn't make any sense. But some combination that we see, for example, with the shield has like three most main combinations, which dagger and shield, great sword and shield, and wand and shield. And all those combinations synchronized well, very well with the shield. So with the dagger, you are tanky, but also has you will have access to stealth from the dagger. Uh, I mean, obvious, great sword and shield will synchronize very well. You will have a good burst damage. You will have this tankiness from the shield. You will have a lot of CC, and yeah. So it's very well synchronized. And the most broken one so far probably is the shield and the wand, because you will be tank and you will have ability to healing. And even if you want to go the other way of the one that we talked about it early, imagine being so tanky but you have ability to one shot people with your courses if you like set up the courses well. So yeah, the possibility, as I said, is nearly unlimited, but there is like a few options that you can use. It's not about, oh okay, I can make any options. Some options doesn't really well. So in case of staff and bow works really well. Both ranged, you can play ranged, you can get the advantage of the cooldown reset from the bow, and this AoE burst from the staff, mana generation. Also the staff give some decent mana generation, so this all will be handy. And since we talked about the skill, let me give you an idea about how the skills work. So we can see here the skills of each weapon. As you can see, this is first the defensive skill. This is like block skill that each class has. Now the effect will be different from weapon to another. So, but the main thing that you need to understand, this is like a block skill. Each class has access to this skill. Now, in this case, we see here, this is the crossbow skills. Those are the normal skills, as you can see here, and those are the passives. So as you can see, weakening chance, there is a certain number, and you can get 41% in this case chance to get additional movement speed. So this is what kind of passive you expect from the crossbow. If you look at the dagger, for example, this is the passives that you can get: crit hit, and some mana generation, attack speed, blah blah blah, on evading, chance to apply. Okay, so this is really good one. And poison, and so this is crit damage, a chance. So there is like a lot of options that you can use. As I said, you have the passive combinations, you have the normal skill combination, you have the weapon combination itself. So there's a lot of things that you can actually do. And as you can see here, there is a lot of option of skills for each weapon. So your creativity will shine on this. However, I advise, if you like don't have any idea about the combination, watch my YouTube videos. I'll try to cover the best combination in the next video, especially when I see the weapons in the early access. Although many people made videos about the game on the beta version, and they actually provide a very valuable information. Developers said they will be changing a lot of things after that, so what we get in the early access could be different. That's why I think like the solid information will be available from those who play the early access, and that's actually the main reason why I am going to participate in the early access in the first place. So before you start the game, you get a good idea about what's going on in the game, what's the best options, and so on. I'll give you the everything you need to know during this time. So this is a simple idea about the weapon system, about the classes, about how it works. Now, based on your play style, like if you are ranged, you like to play ranged, you can go some combination like staff and wand, staff and bow, and so on. There's some good ranged combinations that you can use. However, if you like tankiness, sword and shield will be mandatory, and you can combine it with other options. As I said early, if you want to go like damage, there is a lot of options for damage. But I mean, if you want to go like melee DPS, you can go maybe Dagger and Greatsword, you can go Dagger and Crossbow, and there's actually a lot of options here. But in case of Crossbow, which I said is the highest damage on the game, as we saw so far. Now, as I said, it could be different, but I don't think they will change this, because the main point of this weapon is the high burst and the high sustain DPS. If they take this from the weapon, like nobody gonna use it anymore. It is hard in the first place to use. So I think it will remain the highest damage in the game. However, since it is mid-range, it will be difficult to like use it with high range like bow and staff. Most of the time you will be using it with the dagger. You will get those passives from the dagger, the crits and all that juicy stuff will be really good with the crossbow. Also, you will have good mobility with the dagger, the stealth, and ability to ambush the target, and so on. So yeah, this is everything about it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and make sure to follow me, because I will be streaming early access. If there is anything you would like to ask, I'll try to cover it in a future video. Thanks very much for watching. See you soon.